Welcome to Breakdown, where in only a few minutes, I'll teach you all the tips and tricks you need to know to win in Marvel Rivals, no time wasted. I'm Break, and today we're talking the easiest characters to learn for each role. Whether you're new to the game or just want to learn a new role and don't know where to start, this is the video for you. I'm going to keep things simple and only explain core parts of each character. Timestamps for each role and character are included in the description as well. First off, we have Vanguards. Vanguards are your equivalent to tank, frontliner, or big guy, however you prefer to think of them. They have big health bars and have tools that'll help them stay alive in the front of the fight. The first Vanguard I would recommend you try to learn is Groot. He's very easy to understand and get a visual idea of your impact on the map. You have two different types of walls, and you can use these to take or deny space from the enemy team. Drop them behind enemies when they walk in, and there you go. Your walls also will attack nearby enemies, so even if you miss every shot and ability, if your walls are in relatively the right area, you're generating some value for your team. Your primary fire is a root that extends from your body, and despite what it looks like, it actually is considered a projectile, so it'll be blocked by shields. It does a fair bit of damage, but can't headshot. You can toss your secondary fire, Spore Bomb, at your enemies whenever you have the cooldown available. It'll damage in a nice spear, so you don't have to be too accurate. Groot's ultimate pulls enemies into the center. This is great if you have a friend who's making you play this game with them, because then they can use their ultimate with you and you'll both get to pop up when you kill a bunch of enemies. Next, we have Magneto. Magneto has a bubble he can use for himself or his allies that, if it's shot, will make his right click do more damage. His cooldowns are shared though, so keep that in mind. He also has a shield that has infinite health, but can only be used every few seconds. Use this when you want to walk forward. Magneto's ultimate is really great because it acts as a defensive ability that can beat a lot of strong offensive ones. You can just throw it at enemies, but it'll suck up any enemy projectiles and deal even more damage based on how much you eat. For our last Vanguard, we have Doctor Strange. First off, his primary has a nice range to it, and since it's a decent size, you don't have to have perfect aim. He has a nice shield you can use to protect yourself without worrying about a cooldown, and also he can fly if you want to get up somewhere high. The main thing you need to worry about with Doctor Strange is your passive, Price of Magic. As you hit enemies with your primary, it'll be charging this meter in the middle of your screen. If it hits 100, you won't be able to get healed. However, the good thing is, the higher the number, the more damage you do with your E, Maelstrom of Madness. Now on to the Duelist. Duelists are your DPS. There's already a nice chunk of them in Marvel Rivals, which includes some that are great for new players or people who struggle with consistent aim. First off, we have Scarlet Witch. The perfect pick for anyone to start playing Duelist. Her primary fire is an auto-aim beam that'll deal damage to your opponent while it's within range. It also charges chaos energy, which you can see in the middle of your screen. Your secondary fire uses these charges to shoot explosive projectiles that can be a bit tricky to aim, but do more damage. Scarlet Witch's E, Dark Seal, is a circular stun that'll remain on the ground for a few seconds, stunning anyone who walks into it. She has some mobility as well as a way to escape anyone trying to attack her with her Shift Mystic Projection. You turn into a small orb that moves freely. This has two charges, so even if you make a mistake, you can just try again. Lastly, her ultimate turns her into a big bomb. Yeah. Go explode, live your dreams. The next duelist is the Punisher. Let's just say guns. He's the perfect step into the hero shooter genre if you find some of the mechanics I mentioned earlier to be overwhelming. He can switch between two basic guns, an assault rifle for mid to long range and a shotgun for close range. Your secondary fire shoots a smoke grenade that'll send you backwards and leave a cloud, blinding enemies. The Punisher has a zipline you can place down that can grant you access to high ground. Just keep in mind, it doesn't work unless you actually aim it at a wall. If you like the idea of gun, the Punisher also has a turret he can place down that has the added benefit of blocking damage for himself. As for his ultimate, he has, well, bigger gun. It's also worth mentioning, if you have a Rocket Raccoon on your team and you see one of these things get thrown out, it gives you infinite ammo and lets you shoot faster if you stand in it. Our final duelist is Squirrel Girl. If you have bad aim, she's great because you can just send your acorns towards the enemy and they bounce around and eventually hit someone. Her shift, tail bounce, is a jump, and her right click, Squirrel Blockade, is a bigger acorn that'll trap any enemies it hits. You can also instantly refresh your cooldown with your E, Mammal Bond. Finally, her ultimate sends a tsunami of squirrels down a path and they'll bounce around, targeting the nearest enemy when they hit a wall. Before we move on, I just want to take a moment to say, if you like this video, I have a bunch more content planned as we head into season 1, so make sure to subscribe to get notified when that goes live. Now we'll move on to our last class, Strategists. These are your healers, supports, or backline enjoyers. First, we have Rocket Raccoon. With Rocket, you can just unbind your primary fire. You don't need to worry about it. Stay behind your team and hold down your secondary fire. It'll fire orbs and bounce off the wall and heal your allies. You also have a jetpack with your shift that helps you stay alive. Between this and the fact that Rocket is so small, he's really hard to hit. He can throw down a beacon as well that can revive teammates, which is great if you're trying to climb and have that one guy that keeps dying at the start of a fight. And finally, Rocket's ultimate places down a drone that'll boost your allies' damage by 40% if they're in the line of sight of it. Also, if you have a Punisher or Winter Soldier on your team, you get this extra drone you can throw down that, like I mentioned, gives them infinite ammo and makes them shoot faster. Our second strategist is Luna Snow. She's great because she'll naturally heal herself whenever you use an ability, and she moves faster and jumps higher than most other characters. Her primary fire, Light and Dark Ice, functions both as a way to heal and damage, depending on if you hit an ally or enemy. Her Ice Art's ability essentially works the same, but it pierces anyone it hits in a straight line, allowing you to heal, damage, or do a mix of both to anyone who lines up. Luna's secondary fire is absolute zero. This will freeze any enemies it hits and do a little bit of damage. Next, Share the Stage can be placed on any ally. It'll restore some of their health whenever you heal another ally. Luna's ultimate, Fate of Both Worlds, gives you a big ring of healing. It can toggle to damage, but don't. It lasts for 12 seconds, which gives your team so much time to either escape or win. On to the last strategist and final character, we have Jeff the Landshark. Jeff is great because like Rocket, he's small, so he's hard to hit. Additionally, he shoots out a stream of healing that will heal any allies within the range of his primary fire. He can do some damage with his secondary fire, Aqua Burst. It does splash damage, so firing it into a group from time to time is nice to finish off an enemy who is low health. If you need to get somewhere fast or run away, Jeff's Shift, Hide and Seek sinks him into the ground. He can scale walls and gets a movement buff. He also gets even harder to hit during this. Additionally, if you need to heal yourself or want more of a speed boost, Jeff's E, Healing Bubble, has you covered. You can spit a whole bunch of these down at once, so you don't need to think too much about placement if you don't want to. And for Jeff's ultimate, he can swallow anyone within his giant ring of doom. You can toss yourself off the map if you want to get a few kills, but just make sure to spit your allies out first. And there you go. I hope this helps you become more flexible or figure out who you want to try next. Good luck on your games, and thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in the next video.